Welcome, fellow drum nerds and music producers. It's Jonathan from Red Pack Drums. On this channel, we provide you of unique sounding and looking percussive instruments, from sound examples to musical performances, interviews, and music production tutorials. So if you're a drum nerd just like us, please consider subscribing and liking the video so we can get the custom drum word out. Our mission as Red Pack Drums is getting you custom built drums, expensive built drums to your desktop. This way you can play with exclusive drum sounds on your electronic drum kit or for your home productions that are not available without selling your kidney. So if you guys have any suggestions of expensive drums that you would like to have sampled, please leave it in the comment section. We will definitely consider adding these to our roster. Today we're doing another Red Pack Hacks video, and it's again about Midi. So the previous video I made was about Midi mapping. This is always a hassle when you're using different kind of libraries and different kind of Midi files. So there I exactly explained how to map the right Midi notes to our drum library. So if you have any questions concerning that problem, I'll link it somewhere here so you can check it out. But there were some questions about how to go about importing and using Midi files. What are the right steps to take to get the sound that you want and that you need? So I thought, let's make a video about that, where I explain my steps on how to do that and how to use Midi in your productions and how I go about doing that. So let's jump in the session and I will exactly explain my steps on how I modify the velocity and the things I need from the Midi, and then combine that with a good sounding drum library. So let's jump in. So first off, for example, I have some GGD Get Good Drums Midi files here. These guys also create great sounding libraries. Definitely check them out. But their Midi files are not compatible, not mapped with our library, right? So that's a good example to use for this tutorial. So let's see what this is. So here I'm already missing some hits. Okay, let's go with this one. Well, first thing I do is putting Cubase on a general Midi map. That way we get this window for editing and not the pain in the ass piano roll. For drums, I really don't like the piano roll. It's confusing to me what is what. The note length is not really something you need with drums. So it's just confusing. Just use general Midi and then you get these diamond-shaped Midi notes, and that's much easier. So the first thing I do, play it. Nothing. So in Kontakt, you need to choose the right port on the Midi file, so otherwise it doesn't play anything. So I'll just put it on Omni, then it triggers everything, every Midi channel. Let's loop that, Alt P, and let's see what notes do we have. This is a closed hi-hat. These are snare drums, sounds good. Crashes. China. I think this should be a tom. So we need to remap that. And this is something else. I don't know what. My guess would be some kind of cymbal, because he's playing the foot pedal, the hi-hat foot pedal. So this should be some kind of cymbal. So let's open the library. Go to the Midi page. Open a lower window in Cubase editor, so we can see all of this. Make this a little smaller. Opa. So we're missing the tom. I think this should be a high tom. This is high tom, so we're gonna remap this to a lower tom. Midi learn. Oh, deleted it. Up. Rack tom 1, Midi learn. Twice, hit it twice, and then we got it. And this, I'm not sure what this is, so we'll start with a crash. Midi learn. Cool. Let's see how that sounds. We're getting there. This should be right. Yeah, we can do the other crash if we want, but that's not for this purpose, right? So we've got all the MIDI notes mapped out. Then we can close this again. Then I check if the hit strength slider is in the middle. Just Control or Command click. Then it goes back to 0 to default. So if this is up, the MIDI curve is louder. So the hit strength slider is like a linear line, and if you put the let me see if I can do that. So if you put the hit strength slider up, it goes like this. So you're bending the MIDI curve up, so all the MIDI notes are getting louder. But if they're programmed the loudest that they can go, then the hit strength slider doesn't do anything, because they're already at their peak, right? And the same way is down. So when you go down with the hit strength slider, it curves the other way around, like this. So it's a frown or a smile, right? So that's the same way if you program all the hits at max velocity in the MIDI file. You can see that here. You can see that they programmed it lower. Some hits a lot lower at 86. So when I change the hit strength slider, the lower hits will go up or down. The 127 hits will stay the same. That they don't get affected by the curve that the hit strength slider makes. That's something to think about when you're using and programming your MIDI files. So to get back, I first check if the MIDI, the hit strength slider is in the middle. Then I go and check the MIDI notes if they are where I think they should be. So for this case, if you click on the bass drum, you see all the bass drum hits. If you click on the snare drum, you see all the snare drum hits. That's really easy when you put it on this general MIDI function, where what I explained earlier. On a piano roll, that's not the case, and it's a really pain in the ass for editing this stuff. Okay, so let's start with the bass drum. So I feel like the bass drum is where it should be. You can edit it if you need, but for now it's good. The if I'm listening to the snare drum, it's a bit, the ghost notes are not as loud as I would love to. So in that case, I'm gonna change that. You can see that the hard hits are full blown power. Let's see what this sounds. And what I like to do with these kind of MIDI files is to change the loud hits to rim shots. So let's do that. Whoops. Command Z. The fill, I just leave center hits. That's typically how a drummer drums. Is the fills are not really rim shots. Could be, but I like these dynamic differences. Let's do. So now we have the loud hits as rim shots, and we're gonna change the ghost notes to a little louder. So I'll just select the part I need and just tuck on this slider. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, that is more like it. Then I fine tweak them a bit up again. Cool. So if you hear the difference now, it's with the second part, which I didn't change, and the first part. So the ghost notes are not really poking out, right? You're not really hearing them. And in this part, a lot better, right? So then this is the pedal hits. Looks good to me, sounds good to me. I like to be the toms a little louder, a little bit more of attack. This sounds a bit like a machine gun to me, so let's change that a bit. Cool. And if you've done that with all the different sounds, then you can obviously listen into your track with the guitars, with all your production, and if you then need to make the drummer a bit louder or quieter, use the hit strength slider. So, for example, this is going to be a metal track, and the ghost notes are not where they need just a little tweaking or the complete kit. So when you change this slider, you're also changing the cymbal hits, the bass drum hits. It will flatten or make it louder or quieter, all of the hits. Now, and this is a great example where the rim shots are programmed as at max velocity. Now I put the hit strength slider all the way down, but you still hear the really loud hits. Pop, pop. So it's a good practice when you want to use this hit strength slider in your productions to make quick adjustments, to program them a little bit softer, quieter, right? A little bit lower, like something like this. So just select them and put them at 115. Then when you dock the hit strength slider, they get softer, which I explained earlier. So now, if you're listening, you can hear that the rim shots are much lower, right? And if you put it full power, everything is at full power. So basically, that's the way how I approach this. MIDI mapping, MIDI file, adjustments where needed in velocity, then use the hit strength slider in your production just to tweak it where needed, and then you're good to go. So that was it for today. Hope that helped. If you have any other questions, please leave it in the comments. Please give this video a like if you learned something. Till next time, Jonathan out, Red Pack Drums.